I know it might sound strange for me to say this, but hang in for just a few moments. I hope you are leaning into the difficult things in life, that you're learning to acknowledge the negative facets of violence and destruction and devastation in our world, and how to truly lament as a participant in the world, and not just as a spectator only. But before I offend you, let me remind you that experiencing the devastating realities of our life in this world, produces hope in relationship to the absolute power of God and the fact that He is present within us. Even more so, participating in the tragic reality of life around us, and not only around us, but within us, not only produces hope, but it strengthens our faith. Look for just a moment with me at what the psalmist writes later in Psalm 102. He writes this: "He broke my strength in midlife, cutting short my days. But I cried to Him, 'Oh my God, who lives forever, don't take my life while I am so young.' Long ago you laid the foundations of the earth and made the heavens with your hands. They will perish, but you remain forever. They will wear out like old clothing. You will change them like a garment and discard them." Now remember, this is an afflicted man, facing certain death for some unknown reason, who's crying out in prayer, fully assured that God has the power to spare his life. So you see, this is not a man with a death wish, a depressed man who's down on his luck. He is a man with the courage to face reality, to lament the circumstances and the difficulties in his life around him, and yet to call on the Lord to display His power and glory for all to see, even through his own life. But before we assume that this man is simply reacting out of a desire to save his own skin, let's look at the conclusion of his prayer. He writes these words: "But you are always the same. You will live forever. The children of your people will live in security, and their children's children will thrive in your presence." So you see, even though everything else seems to be deteriorating and moving toward that ultimate end, I think he's really espousing the second law of thermodynamics before it's even written, that all things are moving toward an ultimate end. He is confident that the Lord rests above it all and will save and sustain the lives of His people for generation to come, let alone His own. In other words, like the hymn writer declares, "When all around my soul gives way, He then is all my hope and stay." My friends, we can trust that in the depths of loss and languishing in a life characterized by brokenness and disappointment. And our laments can not only be cathartic, which is healing for our souls, but they can be constructive as we open our eyes and hearts to the comforting and restoring power of God in Jesus Christ. So wherever you are at this time in life, whatever difficulties you may face or whatever prosperity you're in, embrace it all, the good and the bad. He is not only delighted to laugh with us, but He finds great pleasure in being able to weep with us as well. May our lament become a love song, an anthem to His greatness. God bless you, my friends. I love you all and look forward to seeing some of you this weekend.